Bank estimates that by 2050, the amount of waste generated globally is to be increased by 70%. I mean, that's a scary number right there. Thank God we have solutions at hand. Once again, we are counting upon the telematics industry in the hope that we can utilize telemetry data and analytics to correct our existing waste management methods. Hello, namaste, and a big welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining with us today. We really appreciate your time and attention. Today, Uffisians will brief you through the domestic waste management crisis and tell you how telematics solutions can avoid this global disaster. So we've got the agenda lined up for you. So let's have a look at what we have in store for you for the next 30 minutes. So we'll start with understanding what domestic waste management actually is, right? And then our speakers will answer a string of questions and give insights into telematics software and probably tell us how these solutions can help us streamline waste management processes. So I absolutely understand we have a lot to do, so let's get started. Now, before I begin with the panel discussion, I'd like to introduce today's panel. We've got two expert speakers, and our first speaker is Ms. Aarti Madhumal. She works at Uffizio as a key account executive. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone.
And our next speaker is Mr. Atik Washi, who also works at Uffizio as a technical support engineer. Sir, welcome, and thank you for being a part of today's panel.
Thanks for the introduction. Welcome, everyone.
And finally, I am Prachi Panditya. I'm a writer at Uffizio, and today I will be moderating this panel discussion. Now, I know we're all excited to talk about waste management solutions. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? But I'd like to start by introducing our company, Uffizio. So Uffizio basically builds GPS and telematics-based software solutions from the ground up. And here's what we're particularly proud of. So we've had successful business enterprises in about 60 countries. And we have an extensive hardware partner network. So what that means for you is that you never have to worry about your hardware or tracker needs when you're with Uffizio. Currently, there are 1.2K devices integrated on Uffizio's FM platform. But what I feel is like none of this truly matters unless our clientele is extremely happy with us, right? So we have about 50,000 happy customers as of now, and I think they all know that Uffizio goes to great lengths to serve them better. So that was about Uffizio, a very quick introduction. Now let's talk about waste management, right? So waste mismanagement is not just a national crisis, it's a global one. And countries all over the world are grappling with this problem. So clearly there is an untapped potential for solutions that can help. And thanks to Uffizio, we don't have to wait for those solutions. So today I'll be asking a string of questions to our speakers, and they will kind of discuss how waste management solutions can be implemented. So let's get started. I guess the first question to the panel would be basically asking them to explain what domestic waste is. I mean, you can't solve a problem unless you know what it is, right? So what is domestic waste? Who's producing it? And how can we streamline it? Ms. Aarti, would you like to take that one?
Absolutely, Prachi. So you rightly mentioned, that before we get into the nitty-gritties of the system, I think it's really important for our users to understand what domestic waste actually is. So domestic waste is something that is generated on a daily basis by you and me. That can be through, our daily household activities like cooking, cleaning, or washing your clothes, or cleaning your households. Right. So now what happens is this kind of waste is usually collected outside our housing premises or, outside our societies. So timely collection as well as disposal of this waste becomes really important, because if it's not collected, obviously, there are kids around, there are elders, so there's always a risk of, say, disease breakouts or pollution. So timely, like I mentioned, timely collection as well as disposal becomes important, not only for overall safety but hygiene as well. So this responsibility usually lies either with a municipality or basically a government appointed waste collection agency.
I mean, absolutely. You're so right in pointing out the urgency of waste collection, right? Nobody wants to live in a disease infected neighborhood, or nobody wants a toxic landfill right outside the house. So
Right.
clearly, there's absolutely a need to, streamline waste collection. We need punctual waste collection methods. And the sad part here is that we're not able to achieve all of that, right? There are so many roadblocks, there's so many barriers to achieving a 100% collection goal. So, Mr. Atik, I think this question is for you. Can you address the challenges, okay, that are affecting or like, current collection agencies are facing,
Sure,
and
Prachi.
how, yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, there are many challenges that our existing waste management companies experience. For an example, there can be the unexpected vehicle breakdown, visibility into operation, infrastructure and budget, and addressing citizens' concern. Okay, so I think the first challenge can be the unexpected vehicle breakdown during a trip. Okay, so proper condition of the vehicle are very important in the waste collection process, but their maintenance is often neglected. This adds to the total cost of operation. The second biggest challenge in waste management can be the lack of visibility. Okay, even with the current collection methods, the government agencies are still not clear that the task assigned for garbage collections are carried out properly or not. So the lack of data and information is clearly the leading cause of waste mismanagement. Another challenge can be the lack of scheduling, routing, and resource utilization, which has disturbingly affected the existing waste collection process. Okay. Apart from that, managing such quantities of waste needs the development of infrastructure and sufficient municipal budgeting. And the last point can be addressing citizens' concern, which is something that is often neglected because they do not have dedicated medium to raise their concern.
Thank you so much for taking that question up, Mr. Ratik. I think what I love about your answer is how you kind of divided all of these challenges into four main categories. Okay, so I think you mentioned vehicle maintenance, you mentioned visibility, and then there was citizen concerns, and then finally we talked about finances. So what I'm guessing is that all of these challenges are major pain points, right, for waste collection agencies, either municipalities or either private waste collection agencies. And I want our audiences to know that there are solutions for each of these pain points. So how about we break down every challenge and then unpack its solution? Can we start with vehicle maintenance? So would any of you like to tell me how Uffizio's solution can increase vehicle uptime?
Sure, I think I'll take that up. So what Uffizio solution actually provides is we help the customers cope up with their vehicular snags. Now, how that happens is our system basically notifies you about the upcoming vehicle services, say oil check or tire rotation or engine check, etc. So our maintenance modules are designed in such a way so that it saves your time. Because even for us on a daily basis also to, manually remember the date of say our last servicing date or the upcoming scheduled service becomes really difficult. So here what happens, the system acknowledges the last servicing date as well as it schedules your upcoming service accordingly. What do you think,
Ye-
Atik?
Yeah, you're right. And I would also like to draw your attention to the few more points, like as Ms. Aarti mentioned, how our system helps you remind you when to perform preventive maintenance of your vehicle. It also gives you the detail of your vehicle's current health. Okay, so then the details like fuel consumption, total running hours, the distance covered by the vehicle, and the most important parameter can be the misuse of the vehicle. Okay, misuse can be like idling, unauthorized trips taken by the employee. So with the help of these details, we can monitor vehicles cost per mile and can reduce cost and increase productivity. In another way, I can describe it as by understanding vehicle utilization, you will be able to accommodate extra trips without disturbing your ongoing trips. Okay, for an example, if you are a zone manager and you have just received a complaint regarding a missed garbage collection from a citizen, in that case, it is very important for you to know the live location of all waste collection vehicles. Okay, so that you can find out the nearby vehicle and redirect it to the missed collection point. It means with the help of proper vehicle utilization, you can not only increase your productivity, but also helping citizens to address their concern in minimum time, right?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. There is no waste collection without vehicles, right? You need properly functioning vehicles at all time in order to achieve a complete 100% waste collection goal. And as you mentioned, with preventive maintenance, with driver alerts, and then you not only just increase the productivity of the vehicle, but like Mr. Ratik mentioned, you also get to serve your citizens better, which is like a win-win-win for all parties involved. And I absolutely love that. All right, moving on. I think Mr. Atik were describing the challenges you mentioned about the lack of visibility. And you're right. I mean, the admins, they're sitting in their offices and they have no idea what's going along the collection routes, right? They don't know if their workers are picking up the garbage, if they're disposing it correctly, if they're disposing it in a timely manner. So, and like without that data, basically you are in trouble, right? You won't be able to run an efficient business without all those insights. So, how
Yeah.
can Uffizio's solution kind of help increase transparency?
So with smart waste, actually, we actually help the users get visibility at every step. Like for instance, say our live tracking screen. So that provides you a 360-degree view of all your waste collection tasks. So you know you can the users can see if there are any delays or missed points, or if there are any deviations from the route. Also, we have the RGB dustbin icons, which is the red, green, and blue dustbin icons, which actually denote, failed, completed, or upcoming tasks, respectively. Another provision that we have is that you can add QR codes or RFID tags to the dustbins. So the waste collectors can actually scan these and confirm that they have emptied the dustbins, as well as they can click pictures of or take photos of completed tasks, and they can submit them as a task completion proof. So the administrators will always know the current status of their bins, right? I think.
Yeah, you're right. So, and I totally agree with the points mentioned by you. But all these points mentioned by you can be possible only while by sitting in front of the screen, okay, and
Right.
monitoring real-time activities, whether it is from the web application or mobile application. But which is a time-consuming process, and generally the managers are usually busy and unable to coordinate these activities. Okay. So in order to save time, we have smarter ways to monitor task and vehicle based on area of interest or geofences. For example, you can set up a geofence around an incinerator unit or a dump yard and get notify every time a waste collection vehicle enters or leaves them. You can also get detailed status of collection points without monitoring the live tracking screen for hours. Okay. So this collection points can be saved as an address, and the task is said to be completed only when all the collection points get visited by the waste collector. It means you are not only monitoring waste collection, but also their assigned task. Okay.
Right, absolutely. But actually, we don't just stop there. We at Uffizio take visibility really seriously. So even after the waste gets collected, we let you monitor the amount of waste collected at the transfer stations. So what happens is dump yards and transfer stations are often worried about the volume and the weight of waste collected, because waste collectors usually fail to complete the assigned jobs, right? So you can determine this with axial scale integrations. Dump yards or secondary transfer stations can actually be equipped with weigh bridges, and their data can be processed by smart waste.
I have to tell you guys, I'm positively surprised. Okay, I had no idea Uffizio has provisions to increase visibility at every step. So we're not only monitoring dust bills, but we're also monitoring our waste collecting crew, and then we're monitoring vehicles. And like Miss Aarti said, we don't stop there, right? Even after the collection is completed, we're measuring the amount of waste, which is something every admin or every waste collection agency absolutely needs. So this is so good to hear. But I'm not going to stop asking questions right after this because at Uffizio, we set up really high standards for ourselves, and our product and our services are the proof of this, right? So another challenge was finances. I mean, let's face it, municipalities, they're always running on low budgets. And then even with private waste collection agencies, okay, they are looking for spaces to cut back their cost. So how can our solution help them manage or rather budget their finances?
I would like to take that. Nowadays, with any task related to fleet servicing, the fuel consumption and costs are a major concern. You know that fuel prices are hiking day by day. Okay, so
Absolutely.
that's why we have introduced route optimization feature. Okay, so with the help of that feature, system provides you the shortest route and the most efficient route. Okay, so you not only save time but also reduce overall fuel cost. Okay, also with the help of our configurable alerts. Okay, you can make sure your drivers are driving well. If you are wondering how this can save cost, I can give you an example. That let's assume that your driver is idling between jobs. Even if they idle 20 minutes a day, you are losing 10 business hours per driver every month. Needless to say, the amount of fuel wasted adds on to the total operative cost. So smart waste allow you to define idling times. Say if you choose 5 minutes and your drivers idle more than that, then you will be notified in real time. So you will be able to check upon your drivers and get to know what causing delays. Right, Arti?
Right, absolutely. I mean, since we're talking about fuel and drivers, and at the end of the day, it's about every penny, right? So we also know that reckless driving can actually take a toll on fuel economy, but also the vehicle's life. That's why smart waste actually allows you to set configurable alerts for, say, speeding or harsh braking and many such events. So your drivers as well as your fleets will always stay safe. Apart from that, our application also lets you record your expenses and monitor them. So what you can do is you can break down the total cost of your operation maybe into avoidable and unavoidable costs. So this will help you see aspects of your business that can actually do well with cutbacks as well. So you can identify profit trends and meet all your financial goals. And since we're speaking of fleets, like I mentioned, our application lets you practice preventive maintenance. So you will be able to enhance the life of your fleets as well as you can save on corrective repairs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for answering that question with such detail because absolutely route optimization, idling or harsh braking alerts, and then of course, preventive maintenance. All of these are really useful tactics kind of to, reduce your fuel cost and increase your vehicle's life. As you guys were talking, I got to thinking about how complex of a process waste management actually is, right? So there are like admins involved, there's a waste collecting crew, and then finally we come down to the citizens, who I feel are the most important aspect because they are the ones living the solution, right? And I believe that waste management is not a responsibility of a single agency; it's a collective effort, and I feel like the more transparent we are with our citizens, the better waste management process we can establish. So, if you could answer how Uffizio has provisions to increase citizen involvement, that would be great.
Sure. Like you mentioned, Prachi, managing citizen expectations and their complaints is actually the most important yet often neglected aspect of the entire domestic waste management process. So at Uffizio, we have a provision to address this pain point as well. Citizens can log on to our citizen app and maybe lodge a complaint against unclean streets, overflowing dustbins, as well as irregular garbage collection routes.
Yeah, you're missing my favorite point, Aarti, that citizens can take photos of unclean streets. Okay,
Right.
as you said, they can lodge a complaint, but along with that complaint, they can take photos of unclean streets and beans and submit them to their respective zone or ward managers. Okay, and those photos can be geolocated. and the exact location of the dustbin can be known. So the responsible authority can take immediate action on it. Okay, isn't it an important feature for citizens to reach directly to authority?
I agree with you. I think it's going to cut off the middleman, right? And the authorities can directly respond to the citizens. It's going to save time. And as I said, it's going to increase citizen engagement. So, yes, it is an important feature, needless to say. I think I want to wrap up this panel discussion with a question that has been discussed a lot, but often misunderstood. So, in the telematics industry, right, we value data. We're known for real-time data. We're known for real-time analytics, and often businesses do not know how to leverage that for a competitive edge. So, if you guys could explain how real-time data, reports, charts, analytics, all of these can help a business, say in this case a waste management business.
Absolutely. I absolutely love this question because at the end of the day, it's all about data, right? Without data, you won't be able to take any decisions. So, data actually leads you to make smarter decisions. It saves time and also helps in carrying out your operations more efficiently. So, for the audiences to understand better, we've actually broken it down into two parts. The first part would be, where you can increase your overall productivity, and second would be when to take corrective actions. So to start off with the first point, the first, how you can increase your overall productivity. So that can be done with various reports that we offer. For example, our job summary report. So with the job summary report, you'll know exactly when each of your job was completed. You can look out for delayed or missed collection points. Along with this data, you can know which of your drivers are troublesome and which are actually top performing. So you can arrange for training or incentives accordingly. And as discussed earlier, like Atik said, driver alerts can actually be a great way to increase your overall safety. But again, if you're managing like say 500 or 1,000 vehicles, it might not be easy for each manager to, stay on top of those alerts. So we made a report just for driving alerts or violation events. So you can always go back to it and look at it. So this report will actually help you evaluate your drivers better.
Yeah, we are also missing an important aspect here, which is to observe activities based on area. Okay, because these are the great ways to monitor important business areas. However, you will be able to do very little by just knowing the entry and exit timestamp of a particular area. That's why we bring you detailed area-wise reports. So you know which driver or which fleet spend more time than required at a certain area, no matter whether it is a parking yard, dump yard, or incinerator unit.
Yes, this is a great way to increase productivity, right? With geofences and then with alerts and reports for those alerts, right? An admin can just look at those reports and understand which drivers or which collection crews are performing better than the others. But I think Ms. Arti also mentioned about how data can, increase or, leverage corrective action. And I want to know how we can do that.
Yeah, sure, Prachi. I would like to expand on it. Aarti mentioned in her point that the system provides data on driving behavior, and that basically comes from the alerts that are generated on the system. Okay, the alerts can be like overspeeding alerts or alerts related to driving violations like harsh braking, harsh acceleration. So it determines that your drivers are driving recklessly on the road. Okay, and once you have data in your hand, you can prevent them from rash driving by setting up driver training programs. Okay. Apart from this, we have equipped the employee portal with an panic button. Okay, so that you know when your employees need help and you can take responsive actions if they are asking for help. Okay. Along with that, you can review data from way bridges. Okay, and uh, with the help of that data, you can be the first person to know if quantities of waste are lesser than usual. This will help you identify those collectors that are failing to complete their collection routes. Isn't it a good option to identify the troublesome?
Absolutely, Atik. I completely agree with you. And let's take your word for it that maybe everything is working well. But at the end of the day, who will decide how well your waste collection agency is doing? So that final call will always be taken by the citizens. So the agency can actually keep them happy by reacting to their complaints proactively with the help of our citizen app. So they can send their crew to address complaints immediately and keep the residents happy and satisfied with their services.
So it is true what they say about data. It can either make or break a business, right? So thank you for answering all these questions with such patience. I think you guys were great, and I don't think we could have asked for better speakers for today's panel. So thank you. And with that, I'd like to wrap up this panel discussion. So how about a quick poll right now? So audiences, you will be able to see a poll on your screen right now. There are 5 questions and each have like 4 options. So please select an option that suits you well and then just hit submit. And we'll give you like 30 to 45 seconds to finish that. So please take your time. So it's okay if you're still finishing up your poll, you can do that while I take you to today's highlights. Because our speakers, they had some great things to say during the webinar, and I think I want to repeat them so that you remember them even after the webinar is done. So they started talking about how garbage collection or waste collection routes can be automated, and you'll get notified every time your crew misses or delays a pickup point, right? So that's inherently going to boost your productivity and help your crew perform better. Mr. Rafiq, I think, mentioned about geofences and area reports. So these are a smarter way to kind of monitor your vehicles and your crew. And as he mentioned, you don't have to, sit in front of the live tracking screen for hours. You can just do it with the help of a report. And then kind of talked about preventive maintenance and how it helps reducing fuel cost and overall operational cost. And then we talked about data, where our speakers kind of really detailed explanation of how data can help you increase productivity, and it can encourage you to take corrective action. And then finally, we talked about the citizen app, the citizen portal, which kind of increases citizen engagement, and the authorities can address their complaints in a timely manner. So all of this can be done with the Uffizio's smart waste application. So I'm hoping you could turn with the poll by about now, and I really want to give us time for this Q&A session. So, our speakers, Ms. Aarti and Mr. Rafiq, they will be taking questions from the audience right now. So please type your questions in the Q&A box, and this is your chance to get the right answers from the experts. So over to the speakers.
Okay, so the first question that I can see is, what will be the procedure to use the citizen app, and what will be the authenticity of the registered user? So I really like this question because obviously we understand your concerns. So that's why we actually use or we let the users register with the help of their mobile numbers. So they can also be verified with a one-time password. So there will be minimum chance of getting fake account registrations. So the next question would be, does your preventive maintenance module send reminders based on work hour of vehicles? So yes, we do have a provision where you can send reminders based on either distance, maybe work hour, as well as a particular specific duration. Okay, and the third question would be, does your system provide route deviation alerts? Yes, of course. Our system does provide any, route deviation alerts if the vehicle has actually deviated from the route that it was supposed to take. And maybe the last question that I'll take is, are you providing services in domestic waste only? as we are seeking solutions in biomedical and industrial waste also. So this
Okay.
question is actually really insightful because it is really important for our users to understand that the processes or the way the waste has to be handled, that is domestic or like you mentioned, biomedical and industrial waste. So they have to be handled very differently. So yes, we do provide solutions in both sectors, and maybe we can arrange our next webinar focusing on biomedical and industrial waste.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
maybe I
can
think
see a few more questions here.
yeah.
Like, what will be the procedure to use Citizen app, and what will be the authenticity of the registered user? Okay, so actually, the registration process can be like, it will be based on your mobile number. Okay, and regarding the authenticity, it can like there will be the minimal chances because the mobile number will be verified with one-time password. Okay, so without a valid mobile number, you will not be able to register. Okay, then there is one more question here. As you mentioned, a citizen can lodge a complaint. Okay, there is one more question. Does your system support map images surveyed by government approved survey agency? Yes, our system does support this, and uh, for that, the government, like the waste collection agency, will have to provide us the surveyed map data that we will be able to integrate with our platform. Okay. Then there is one more question we have received that they have missed the first part of webinar. Sorry, that you will be able to get the details from our team that from where you will be able to access this. Okay. Then there is one more question here. Is there any dedicated mobile application available for municipality or waste collection agencies? Yes, there is a dedicated application available. Our system offers three kind of different applications. One will be for the uh, uh, government authorities like the waste collection agencies. Second will be for the waste collectors, which are going to be the employees. And the third will be for the citizen, like the citizen app. Okay. If any other answer question. Okay, we are also receiving, apart from this, we are also receiving a few queries related to the pricing. Okay, so I request our attendees to reach out to us on info@uffizio.in. Okay, so and our team will get back to you on that. Okay, I think we have we can wrap up with the Q&A session now because we have answered almost all the questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Atik and Ms. Aarti. I know it's time to go, but I have one final question for you guys, if you don't mind. So we kind of already discussed, what our software offers, and I wanted to know what's your favorite part? Just like one feature or one module or anything.
Maybe I'll go first. I think the citizen app is one of my, favorite parts because at the end of the day, it's the citizens who are, facing the issues of maybe untimely collection. So yeah, I think the citizen app provides a medium for them to actually raise their complaints or concerns on that.
And if you ask me, then like in waste collection process, the route is must. Like each and every waste collector vehicle has their dedicated route. Okay, and they have to follow the same. So our system allows you notification. Like if any waste collector is deviating that route. Okay, so the responsible authority will immediately get an alert. Okay, so that you can identify them. This can be my favorite one.
Right, absolutely. And if you ask me, I think the way we've simplified visibility for admins, right? I think Ms. Aarti mentioned about the RGB, the red, blue, green color
Right.
dustbins, and just with the help of colors, right? You can just determine if your crew is missing a collection point, if you're making it on time. And then, of course, the actual scale integration. I've never heard something like that before with an FM platform, right? So it's an absolute, we go above and beyond, right, to make
Right.
sure that our clients or our final users they absolutely get the best. And yeah, so I guess thank you so much for being a part of today's panel discussion. You guys were great. And then to our audiences, so if our speakers missed any of your questions, don't worry, we will get back to you. Just shoot out an email at info@therateuphysio.in and we will get back to you. In the meantime, I do want to leave you with this thought written by Robert Swan. He said that the biggest problem with this planet is that someone else will fix it, right? We always wait for someone else to correct, and then what happens is nobody does it. So be the change you want to see. And waste management is a serious crisis, and there are solutions available. So we do have a chance to save the only living environment we know, our planet Earth. So if you want to get in touch and talk more about smart waste solutions, please let us know. Our email is info@therateuphysio.in. You can also find more materials on our website, which is uffizio.com. And if you haven't already followed us on social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, please do so. This is a great time to do that. So we'll be back again with another webinar soon. But in the meantime, I wish you goodbye. And thank you. Thanks again for investing all of your time and your evening with us.